Hello everyone, you're welcome back to this channel. What I have today is how I made this beautiful, is how to make this beautiful dress. In this video, I'll be taking you through step by step on how you can achieve this the dress. It's easy. All you need to do is just to take your time and watch this video as I give it out step by step. So, thanks for watching. So, you're welcome back. Now, as you can see right here, this fabric is folded into 4 pieces. 1, 2, then 3 and 4. So 4 pieces. Now, if you are interested in how to draft your basic bodice pattern, I have a video on how to draft your basic body pattern. But notwithstanding, I will be drafting it exactly on directly on this fabric. So let's go. Now, I have the bust for this fabric for this tutorial to be 35 inches. So, and you are going to use the biggest part of your bodies to draft out the width of your fabric. And I've used of course, the bust or the hip. You either use the hip if it is somebody that is busty. At times you have the bust even bigger than the hip. So it depends on the one that is bigger, that is the biggest. So in this case, I use the hip, and the hip is 35 inches. So now here I've I will be using the length. The length for this is 14 inches, but I've added some inches to it for my hemming and all that. So I have here the total of 15.5 inches, but I will be making use of 15 inches, which means that it's only 1 inch I will be using for the hemming allowance. So right now I'm going to reduce this to give me exactly 15 inches. Okay, I hope it's okay like this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to start the business properly. So I will be working with, I will be marking the, now lest I forget, here you can see this part is a bit wider or longer than this. The reason is that this one I've made it to be the zipper allowance. So it's just like 1 inch for the zipper allowance, and that is why I have it like this. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is to mark my shoulder line, and the shoulder for this is 14 inches divided by 2. I have 7. Here is it. You can see where I place my measuring tape right on the second one here. So I measure 7 inches inward. So from there, I'm going to come down by 3/4 of an inch as my shoulder slope. So I go back to the neckline. So I will be making use of the width 3 inches for the neckline. Can you see? 3 inches. So now for the depth, let me quickly go with the back depth. I'll be making use of 1 inch for the back depth. 1 inch. So I'm going to mark 1 inch right here. So I will also come here. I mark 1 inch. So I'm going to create a curve right here. So that is the depth of my back neckline. So from this point now, I'm going to connect to this, my shoulder slope. Here is it. So from this shoulder slope, I'm going to mark the length of the armhole. So I'll be using 7 inches. If you know how to calculate, there's a little formula you need to use here to get the length of your armhole. So that is why I'll be putting the link of on how to draft a basic bodice pattern which I've released. I'm going to put it in the description box below, so you check it. You know how to do that. So I go straight to it. I mark 7 inches downwards. So from here, I'm going to measure my bust circumference. Now 35 divided by 4. So whatever it gives me is what I will be marking right here. So I'll be marking 8¾ of an inch. So I'm going to just simply connect this to this. So right now, I will just go. Before I go to the waist side, let me quickly create my armhole curve. Now that I've measured the bust circumference, which is 8¾ of an inch, which is here. So I'm going to add 1.5 inch or 1 inch as my seam allowance. 1 inch is okay. 1 inch. So I'm going to connect that to this. So the next thing is to create my armhole curve. So what I'm going to do is from this point, from this leg, I'm going to go up by 3 inches. So I'm going to create a curve right here. You can use your free hand and you can use your French curve to do this. Very, very easy. So the next thing I'm going to do right here is to go to the waistline. I have the waist for this to be 26 inches. Now 26 divided by 4 gives me 6½ inches. I have it here. So I'm going to impute my dart allowance 1 inch, and I will also impute my seam allowance 1 inch. That seam allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go to determine. I'm going to mark my dart length. So the bust pan, the length of the bust, the breadth of the bust pan is 7 inches in this case, divided by 2, 3½ inches plus half an inch. So I will be having 4 inches. So I'm going to mark from this center front here. I mark 4 inches inward. So I also go here, that is the bust line. I mark 4 inches. So I'm going to come down by, I will go up here. I mark my bust length. The bust length for this is 10 inches. So here is my bust length. So I'm going to connect this line horizontally first. This is my bust line. So for that width, it is here I'm going to stop. I won't extend it to this. So this means this one is ignored. So I mark 4 inches here. So I go down to the waist side. I mark 4 inches. So I'm going to connect this to this. So right now I'm going to come down by 1 inch here on this bust line. So from here, at the leg of the dart here, I'm going to mark 0.5 both on my right hand side and also on my left hand side. So you can see half, making it 1 inch. So I will just connect to this point. This one by which I came down from the bust line. So I will also do that to the second part. And you see, so this is my dart. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to connect this line to meet this. So right now I'm going to cut this. But before I do that, naturally the front armhole is naturally deeper than that of the front. So for this reason, I'm going to come in by 3/4 of an inch from this leg here. 3/4 of an inch. So from there, I'm going to create a new armhole curve for the front piece. So here, this one becomes my new armhole curve for the front piece, while this one is for the back. So right now, I will cut. So as you can see right here, I've cut it out. Here is it. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, if you look at this part, you discover that I've added like 1 inch or so to it. The reason why I've done that is that this one is mainly for the back piece. It's like 3/4 of an inch. It's mainly for the back piece. It's not for the front piece. So, and it's because at the end, I'm going to slash this back so that there won't be any bulge at the end of this sewing this fabric together. That's just the essence. So right now, I'm going to mark the dart length. I'm going to notch the dart length so that it will be easy for me by the time I'm sewing, so that I will know where it starts. So I will notch it just a little like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just to remove this back one, the back piece. Then I reshape the front piece. So the front piece, I will first go and remove this. You know, I said this one, the front is not a the main reason why I added this extra 3/4 of an inch is not for the front piece. It's mainly for the back piece. So I'm going to remove this. So having done that, so I go to the armhole. The armhole, I'm going to reshape it like I'm about to do right now. So I reshape it because I said naturally the front armhole is a bit deeper than that of the back. So I'm going to remove this also. So now I go to the neckline of the front. So now from the width here, which is 3 inches, I'm going to remark it very well. I have it right here, 3 inches. I have it here. So from this point, I will now go to the down part of the waist. I'm going to mark just 1 inch or even 3/4 of an inch. So I'll be marking 3/4 of an inch is okay by me. So I'm going to mark it right here. So you could make your own one. It actually depends on how wide you want yours to be. But for me, it's okay like that. So from there, I'm going to connect the line from that waistline to the neckline like this. Can you see? So I'm going to make a straight line from there. I make a straight line from there. After making a straight line from there, like I'm doing right now, so I will now cut this off. Can you see? So I'm going to cut it off right now. Can you see? So here is my front. So this is how it's going to be. It's in V shape. This is how it's going to be. So this is how it's going to be. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to cut the lining, because it's going to have a facing. So I'm going to cut the facing for this, and also for the back piece. So this is the back piece, and I said I'm going to remove some little, like 1 inch from the back, from the center back, just to eliminate some bulge at the end of this tutorial. So from this I'm going to measure 1 inch right here, or 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to measure, so I measure like 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to connect. Can you see the way I'm connecting? Can you see? So I'm going to connect like this. Can you see? Just from here to here. So I'm going to cut this off. So right now I can now place this one on my facing and use it to cut it out, just like I did for the front. So as you can see right here, I've cut it, I've cut the facing for the back piece. Now for the dart of the back piece, so right now here is the leg. So from this point I'm going to measure 7 inches upwards, because it's different from that of the front. So I'm going to measure 7 inches downwards. Okay, can you see? So right now I'm going to, from the leg, I'm going to measure 0.5 of half an inch on the leg, on both sides, half an inch. So I'm going to connect to this point. So this will be the dart of the back piece. You see, then on the second side, I will also measure, I will also mark, make a dart right there too. So this is going to be the dart for the back. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to seal the main fabric separately. So I'm going to seal this to the front piece. So this is the back, why this is the front. So I'm going to sew the front piece to the back piece, that is the main fabric. Here is it, right side to right side. So I'm going to sew this 0.5 downward for the width. I sew it to the neckline, and I also do the same thing to the other one. So I will do the same thing to the other piece. Now, as you can see right here, I've sealed the shoulder line, the two shoulder line. Can you see? So, and I went to indicate where my zipper is going to sit, and I measure 1 inch. Can you see? I've notched it just to give me the sign. 1 inch. This is my zipper seat. So right now I'm going to insert, to cut the length of my collar. Now I'm going to, from this end place where I've just notched for the zipper, so it is from that point I'm going to measure. From this point I'm going to measure like this downwards. So right now I'm going to measure, and exactly what I have here should be what I should have here. So right now I'm going to measure like so. So you can see how I place it so that I can have an accurate figure for the length I'm going to cut for this collar. Can you see? So I have it. So I have 18.5 inches right here. 18.5 inches times 2 times 2. So it's going to give me 37 inches. So I'm going to measure like 38 or 38.5. So that is going to cover the whole length. And here is it. I've already cut it out because this one is a very soft texture, and that is why the width here, which I will be using, I have like 2 inches right here, 2 inches right here, because I will use half inch to hold it here and another half inch to fold it, to hold it together in the middle. So I will be left, at the end of the day, I will be left with like 1 inch or thereabout. So right now, what I did was to measure the width of 8 inches, and I folded it into two. So eventually I have what I have here, like 2 inches. So if yours is a very thick one, you don't need to go to that point, to that extent of width, which I did for mine. You are going to use like just 4 inches divided by 2. By the time you fold it, then it will be 2 inches. So right now from here, this is what I will be using to attach. So I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to close this up. So I'm going to stitch this first, that is the center back. I'm going to stitch it first so that it will be closed. Now the zipper is going to start from somewhere here downwards. So I'm going to close this down to the base of the waist. Now as you can see right here, I've attached the front piece to the back piece, and I've also went um to stitch the darts. I've also completed the dart both on the back side and on the front side, as you can see right here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I said I'm going to close this. So my zipper started from here, like you can see I've run a zip downwards. So the next thing now is just to insert my collar, is to fix my collar. So I'm going to start from the down part here. So from the down part, I'm going to run a stitch straight to the neckline, the back piece, like this. I run a stitch like this till I get back to this other side. That's just the next thing I will be doing right now. So as you can see right now, I've sewn it round the neckline from the down part up to this side. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to close it to some extent. Unless you want to use a tool, then you can close it not to the extent I'm about to close it. So that's the next thing I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to go ahead right now. I place it like this. From the down part here, I'm going to run a stitch like 1 centimeter So from this point, I'm going to run a stitch of 8 inches length. So I'm going to stop here. I mark from here. I'm going to stop 8 inches here. So I'm going to mark it. So that is the next thing I'll be doing right now. So as you can see right here, I've stitched it up to the point where I want it to reach. Like I said the other time, I said if you are to use a tool, then you must make it a bit lower. Bring it down. You stop your closing here, not here. So the next thing lest I forget, I had to slant this. I had to slant it. I forgot initially. So I slanted it, and that is why you can see it giving me V shape. So the next thing now is to attach the down part to it. I will seal it with 0.5 or 0.7. That is the next thing I'm going to do right now. Now as you can see right here, I've attached the down part to the upper part here. This is the line. So the next thing right now is to fix the sleeve and to sew it, to close it finally, and also hem the down part. Then our dress is ready. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead, the lining, I'm going to sew the lining to this part here. So I will be right back. All right, I've come to the conclusion of this tutorial. Can you see this dress? So lovely and neat. Here is the sleeve, and at the wrist here, I insert elastic so that it will be free by the time the owner wears it. Can you see? So neat and beautiful and unique. And I also went down to hem the down part. Can you see how neat it is? So I want to believe that you have really found this tutorial helpful. If you have found it helpful, kindly click on the liking button, or you give it a big thumbs up. And if you're watching this video for the very first time, here is an opportunity for you to click on the subscribe button below. Just click on that subscribe button below, and you hit on the notification bell so that you can have access to my video. And also always put on your notification bell so that you can have access to any new video I release. Thank you very, very much. So feel free to drop your question if you have any question regarding this tutorial, and you also drop your comments if you have any comment regarding it. So from here, I call it a day. So bye for now.